Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 9 of Fire Force. So last time we caught at least one of the people creating infernals, and we learned how at least some of these infernals are being created. There's this little bug, I mean very likely genetically engineered, and when it's pressed from a bottle onto someone, it kind of like burrows inside of them and causes them to become an infernal. Don't know how it works yet or anything, but it does. That's how it works. And so Shinra and Arthur manage to see this happen and try to chase down the culprit, but find only the lieutenants of the first company. So they kind of assume that it has to be one of them. Plus, the hand that reached out and did this to someone had a lieutenant's jacket on. So they eventually agree to work alongside one of the lieutenants who they kind of clear because he's been looking for the truth as well. And that kind of leads them to the other lieutenant, who we very quickly find out was indeed the culprit. He has used Tamaki to lure a bunch of kids to this abandoned warehouse, as well as this woman, and uses them to experiment on, trying to have them, like, kind of not turn, basically. He's trying to see if any of them are strong enough to not turn into an infernal, so they can. And it has something to do with this pilot light. I don't know exactly. Like, I know what a pilot light is in real life, but I don't know what it is in here. And he's just absolutely insane. He is an insane motherfucker who's experimenting on children and willing to have them die for this. And it's like, fuck you, dude. Tamaki is really distraught by this. She tries to do what she can, but he beats the shit out of her. So she sends out, like, this signal. She uses her fire to send out a signal for help. Shinra sees it and goes to save the day. And it's like, it's one of the only times so far, and granted, we haven't seen a lot of her in this series yet, but it's one of the only times so far that I've actually liked her, that I've actually felt bad for her, because it's like, I'm very much kind of on her wavelength. I'm as horrified and disgusted by this. Now, I'm obviously not like her to the point where I was, like, really kind of infatuated and idolizing this guy beforehand. It's like, he seemed cool, but it's like, that's pretty much all my thoughts were on him. But Tamaki, having worked with him a little more closely and all, did idolize him. She saw him as kind of her hero in a way. So having this happen, having this be revealed, would horrify her. It would be so fucking terrible. To the point where it's like, I really do genuinely feel bad for her. And seeing her breaking down and crying because of all of it, seeing her just not able to handle that truth, like, that's terrible. And that is something I can relate to. Just having someone you care about and trust so much turn on you and just end up being a really shitty, disgusting person. Like, that sucks. That is something that I've, again, experienced. And it's the worst. Especially when it's someone that you do truly, truly care for. So it's like, it really bothers me. It really bothers me to see this kind of thing. And that's a good thing, though. I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying anything against the writers or anything here. I think it was smart to put that in. It makes us connect with Tamaki. When prior to this, all she was, walking fan service. And not even good fan service, bad fan service. But this allows us to connect with her and allows us to see her more as a person, as a character. And they're probably still going to do the stupid, bad fan service stuff with her in the future, but at least we get something more with her. At least they do develop her more as a character. So I will give them that, even if they're going to still probably make her my least favorite character once again. So yeah. Except maybe Arthur. Arthur might be just slightly less than her. I don't know. It might switch back and forth between them. Just because Arthur just annoys the shit out of me. He really does. But either way, now that they've caught him, what's going to happen next? How is the rest of Company 1 going to react to this? Are they involved at all? I assume kind of not. I said it last time. I don't think that the captain of Company 1 is involved in this at all. I think that would, one, be too easy. And two, I think just there's not really anything that gives me that vibe with him. He's hiding a lot. 100%. He's hiding a lot. But I don't get the vibe from him that he's actively turning people into infernals. I think he's a red herring for that kind of thing. And I'm not getting that vibe from the other lieutenants right now either. But from this guy, it's like I wasn't getting the vibe from him either at first, so I don't know. That might be intentional. We will have to see. So let's just get this started and hope for the best with this episode. And we've been getting Princess Hibana pretty much every episode, even if just in a small role, so I'm always good with that. So let's see if more Princess Hibana happens. Even again, if just a small role, I would be fine with that. She is my favorite character so far. For various reasons. And not just because she's hot, by the way. But that is a reason. Because she is very hot. But yeah. In all seriousness, let's get this going and see what we have in store. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in. Everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I'm a dum-dum on multiple levels. I just went through the entire afterthoughts and realized I had it set to preview and not record. I went through all of this spiel about a bunch of things, and I was on preview the entire time. It wasn't recording a thing. I feel like such an idiot. I don't know how I did that either. I don't know how that happened. That's so bad. That's so ridiculous. But you also notice I'm also a dum-dum because I stopped the recording, the reaction, before the after credits. And I just didn't know it was going to happen. I didn't know there was going to be an after credits scene. Because when I'm watching the episodes, when I'm reacting, I have my OBS up. I'm not looking at the video on the video player. I'm looking at on the OBS. So because of that, I don't see the time remaining on the video. And so I didn't know there was going to be an after credits scene. I stopped the video. I stopped the recording for the reaction, switched over to the video player, and it's like, oh shit, there's still a lot of time left. So just to summarize really quickly, after credits scene just has Shinra returning to the 8th. time at the first has been canceled, so he's back at the 8th, though Arthur's not with him because Arthur's apparently missing. He just got lost or something. Okay. Um, but he's back there, and Tamaki's there too. And I'm going to keep this brief. I ranted about this a lot in what I thought was my first recording for these afterthoughts, but again, I fucked up on that one. But I'm going to keep this brief. I don't like it. I don't like her fan service. I think it's terrible. I think it's bad. I think it's really shitty fan service, that it's written poorly and handled poorly. And I'm afraid that it's going to take up way too much time in the episodes if she's going to be a notable character in the 8th right now. Because she's apparently on suspension from the 1st, so she's working with the 8th at the time being, for some reason. It's just a way to get her more screen time, I guess, but unfortunately that's not a good thing. But I'm not going to ramble on forever about this because, again, and I already did, and I just wish that it had actually been recorded instead, but I'm an idiot and it wasn't. So this episode kind of went from 10 to 100 really quickly. And I say 10 to 100 because it was already at a 10. It was already like hugely intense and everything with what was going on right at the beginning with Rekka and everything and Shinra starting their fight. But then it jumped to 100 with the fight itself and with Rekka just absolutely losing his shit. He just lost his mind, lost his shit. He just went absolute full-blown insane. And it was entertaining, at least. But we find out that his goal apparently is to create a second sun out of the earth, and it's like, what the fuck? Are you stupid? That is stupid. That is the dumbest fucking goal. And it's like, is that the Evangelist's goal too? Because if so, that's fucking stupid. Y'all are dumb. You're dumb. You're as dumb as me for not recording this before. But yeah, it's a dumb goal. They fight pretty on par with each other, but Shinra ends up getting the upper hand due to his mobility and takes him out. Although it looks like he's about to get a second win in, the other lieutenant who uses the ice and the music and all comes in and freezes Rekka. But before they can even celebrate and get Rekka back to interrogate him, these other two members of the same group who serve under the Evangelist just straight up murder Rekka. They just shoot a sniper shot of flame right through Rekka's torso, his chest, creating this massive hole right in his chest. It's like, oh yeah, he very dead. He very fucking dead. And then they keep shooting and try to kill the other lieutenant, but then this other guy who I also think is a lieutenant but acts more like a priest. I don't know exactly how it is. But he pushes the ice lieutenant out of the way. And again, I'm not great with names, so sorry if I forget their names and all. But he pushes the ice lieutenant out of the way and he loses his arm. Just shot right off. And it's like, oh my fucking God. It's like shit's happening. Luckily, they managed to create a smoke screen thanks to Shinra and managed to get those two to leave. And in the meantime, they just kind of have to figure out what to do now because they can't interrogate him. They can't find out more. But it's also implied by what Rekka says that Shinra's brother, who was already said by the Joker guy to be taken from the fire, we find out more about that. It's implied that it was these same people and that they take kids from fires that they create while faking their deaths and everything in order to use them to try and like hold this pilot light thing. And apparently they're trying to find someone very specific who I guess Shinra kind of qualifies as, who can help them in their goal. And I guess they also possibly use the ones they take to create new disciples, maybe, if they survive. I don't know. Hard to say. That's the only thing I can think of for that. Um, but yeah, we got some good stuff with Tamaki in this episode, but I'm really afraid for the future that they're gonna relegate her role to pretty much just being that stupid bad fan service. And again, I'm not gonna ramble on about this forever because I already did, and unfortunately that's lost because I didn't record it like a dum dum. But yeah, it's just I don't like it. I'm not going to like it. If you don't like that, I don't like it. Tough cookies. It's just my opinion. You're allowed to have your own. If you like Tamaki, that's fine, but I don't. If you want me to just adhere to other people's opinions, go find someone else to watch. Because I'm not going to do that. I am not going to be a mouthpiece for someone else. I'm going to always have my opinions, no matter what you think of them. They are going to be mine and they are going to be honest and they are going to be completely just my own. I'm not going to lie about that just to be popular. But anyways, so yeah, there was a lot of great action in this one. Rekka's insanity was fun. Um, Rekka's death was not fun. It was actually pretty shocking, as was the one guy losing his arm. And it's just like we're clearly escalating this series. It's clearly between Princess Hibana and this, we're clearly escalating things, and it's getting much bigger. So there's a lot to look forward to. But again, with the Tamaki joining the Eighth for the time being, at least, it's just like I'm just so worried about that. I'm so worried that they're gonna have her stupid accidental lewd situation fan service bullshit become a lot more relevant and a lot or not relevant, a lot more prevalent within the series, and I hate that. It's gonna take away so much good from these episodes. But either way, tell me in the comments below what you think of this episode of Fire Force, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.